What if Mace Windu survived? In Revenge of the Sith, we saw Anakin slice Windu's arm off, and from there, he was electrocuted by Palpatine until he eventually fell out of the window. As a result, Windu was never to be seen again, allowing Palpatine and his new apprentice Darth Vader to rule the galaxy side by side. But what if things were different? What if Windu did actually survive his fall? How different would things have been if he was still alive even after this duel? Well, in this alternate timeline, that's exactly what we'll be diving into, so let's get right into it. Our story begins towards the end of the climatic duel between Mace Windu and Palpatine, with young Anakin Skywalker standing right by their side. Just moments ago, Anakin begged Windu to let Palpatine live, as it wasn't the Jedi way to kill an unarmed man, but even more than that, he needed Palpatine. Palpatine was the key to saving his wife from a certain death, so Anakin did whatever he could to ensure that he would stay alive. However, as Windu had enough of this back and forth, he swung back his lightsaber, and as he did, Anakin quickly reacted and out of nowhere sliced Windu's hand off. In that small window, Palpatine unleashed a barrage of Force lightning right at Windu, screaming the words "unlimited power" at him. Windu's lightsaber fell out of his hands. He couldn't take it anymore. He was too weak. Darth Sidious was way too powerful. However, this is now where our story is different from the original. As the lightning overpowered Windu, he yelled in agony and was flung out of the window. Everything was moving fast for him. Every part of his body was in agonizing pain. His hand that he just lost, his limbs that were just fried with Force lightning, everything. Windu's thoughts quickly raced. Although he was severely injured, he knew that if the Jedi Order were to survive, they needed him right now, more than ever. He couldn't die. He could not accept this defeat. That wasn't like him to give up, and out of all moments, he wasn't going to change now. The galaxy needed Master Windu. As he looked down, Windu realized he was getting closer and closer to the ground. He had to do something immediately. So, exactly what he did a few years ago in Geonosis, Windu tried doing whatever he could to give himself a soft landing. However, in order to do this, he had to use the Force. Although it would pain him just to use the Force, he knew he had to try. This wasn't the end of his story. Not yet, at least. So, as he was crashing down, about to hit the ground, Windu reached out his hand and then Mace Windu had landed himself softly on the ground. It really worked. By some miracle, he survived. As Windu laid there on the ground, he let out a big sigh of relief. He really had done it. However, his thoughts quickly shifted. He knew he couldn't stay there for long. He was in way too much pain and so he needed help. With his hand just being chopped off, he had to get medical attention immediately. Luckily, he was a Jedi Master, so with that authority, he was able to go wherever it was he needed. So, Windu lifted himself off the ground, and as he was limping along the streets, everyone looked at him in horror. Or more so, his missing hand. However, Windu ignored them and kept walking towards a nearby medical center. But then, he sensed something. Something oddly familiar. Then he looked over to his left. It was his lightsaber, laying there on the ground. However, as Windu walked towards it, one civilian kneeled down, ready to pick it up from the ground, but then using his one hand, Windu force pulled his saber right to him and looked at the civilian.
That lightsaber, it belongs to me.
The civilian knew better than to ask any questions, especially after Windu just used the Force. So Windu left and continued with his plan by going to the nearby medical center right away. In time, he got the repairs he needed, and by the end, his hand was replaced with a brand new cybernetic one with advanced technology. Although it would never be like his original hand, this would just have to do. So as Windu stepped outside the medical facility, he walked out, hoping to contact Master Yoda immediately. But then he felt something dark, something horrifying, a disturbance in the Force that he never felt before. Not like this, at least. He felt cries, he felt pain, suffering, death. What was going on? Windu felt numb, his mind was racing. Then he witnessed the unthinkable. As Windu looked up, he saw the nearby Jedi temple engulfed in flames. The same Jedi temple that he called home for so many years. A temple of peace and prosperity was now burning. No, he couldn't allow this. He had to put a stop to it all right now. So Windu got up, but as he took another step, he stopped. He just couldn't fight like this. He was way too weak. Although his hand was replaced now, every inch of his body was still in pain from the lightning that Palpatine unleashed on him. Every breath he took was heavy. Every step he took agonized him. He wasn't the same powerful Master Windu that he once was. However, little did he know, things would only get worse for him. As he stood there, he heard two voices behind him. But these voices sounded oddly familiar. Clone troopers. As Windu looked at the two clone troopers standing behind him, he was about to go speak to them. But then he sensed something odd. Something wasn't right. The way they were speaking, their movements. No. What was going on? Windu quickly hid behind a nearby wall.
I just received word that Lord Vader and the 501st have taken control of the temple. Good. Those filthy Jedi will never be able to escape.
Windu took a pause. Lord Vader? Who is this Lord Vader person?
I'm going to bring a few troops to sweep the lower streets. Make sure you leave no survivors, Trooper. Lord Sidious commands it. Yes, sir.
Lord Sidious. The same Lord Sidious that Yoda was talking about for so long during the Clone Wars. The same Lord Sidious that was responsible for Windu's fall and for him being on these streets right now. Then it hit him. Lord Vader must be his apprentice. Lord Vader must be Anakin Skywalker. As time passed, Windu continued to limp throughout the streets of Coruscant, but this time he did his best to stay hidden. However, he only had one thing and one thing on his mind only: Yoda. If there was one Jedi that survived this purge, it would have been Yoda. So Windu was about to pull out his comlink, but it was missing. He looked throughout his ripped up Jedi tunic, but he couldn't find it anywhere. It must have fallen out when he fell down. So he resorted to a plan B. He had to get off this planet. Clearly the clones betrayed the Jedi and were now serving Sidious, and so if that was the case, they might have full control over this planet very, very soon. So Windu looked around, and luckily the will of the Force was by his side. Nearby was a transport shuttle just there, all on its own. No pilot, nobody near it, nothing. Windu thought to himself that it was probably waiting to depart the planet soon, but he wasn't going to wait to find out. Although it wasn't very Jedi Master-like of him, he had to ensure his survival, so he stole the shuttle for himself and from there took off. Despite Windu feeling lost, confused, and unsure what was next for him, he knew that anything was better than staying here on Coruscant. So with that, Windu set off and left the planet that he once called home. One month had passed since Windu escaped, and over the past month, he dedicated each and every day to finding any surviving Jedi. He traveled from planet to planet, hoping to find allies in these desperate times, but sadly, he had no luck. No matter what he tried, he failed. He couldn't find anybody. With the Empire only growing stronger by the day, Windu was losing hope. But then something hit him. One day as he was meditating, he tried concentrating deep within the Force to connect with the Jedi he was closest with, Yoda. Like he said to himself earlier, if there was one Jedi who could survive this purge, it was Yoda. So Windu shifted his priorities to find him. But there was one issue. Where could he possibly be? Sadly, he failed at reaching out to him through the Force, so now he had to take matters into his own hands. Knowing Yoda, he wouldn't have stayed on Coruscant and instead would have gone far to a planet that was strong with the Force. Then it hit him. Dagobah. Windu remembered that Yoda spoke so highly about Dagobah after he shared that he communicated with Qui-Gon Jinn there. At the time, Yoda was so fascinated by this planet, and it was also the perfect place to hide considering it was wiped off the Jedi archives. Windu assumed that just like Kamino, Count Dooku must have taken off Dagobah as well. Normally, Windu would have never known where to find this planet, but luckily, Yoda told him at the time exactly where it was in case something ever happened. So, remembering what Yoda told him, Windu set off for the swamp planet of Dagobah. As Windu arrived, he was stunned by the atmosphere of this planet. Yoda was fascinated by this place, he told himself. What a hideous, boring piece of junk, Windu thought. However, as he got out of the ship, he saw a light. This light was coming from inside of a small hut in the distance. That had to be Yoda. It had to be. So Windu approached the hut, but as he did, he heard a voice.
Invading my home, are you?
Windu turned around. It was him, Master Yoda.
Master Yoda, it's such a relief to see you.
Missed you have I, Master Windu. However, in hiding you should be. Too risky it is for you to be here.
Trust me, a planet like this is the last place I'd want to be. But I came here to see you.
Yoda paused. He looked at Windu's hand.
Your hand? What happened?
Young Skywalker. He betrayed me and sided with the Chancellor.
Twisted by evil young Skywalker has become. The young boy, gone he is, consumed by Darth Vader.
Darth Vader? I heard that name earlier. I overheard some clones speaking about it.
Yes, turned on us our troopers have. Gone the Republic is. Now, the Galactic Empire.
We need to put a stop to this, Master Yoda. We need to take back our Jedi Order. I've tried my hardest this past month to do anything I can to find any surviving Jedi, but I've found no one. However, I won't rest until we take back our galaxy.
No.
No? What are you talking about?
Gone the Jedi Order is. Finished it is. In the past, that time is. Failed I have.
So you're giving up? This isn't the Grand Master of the Order that I know.
Giving up? No, not giving up. Too powerful the Empire is. Too powerful Darth Vader and his master, Darth Sidious, is. Master Windu, win this battle we cannot. Patience we must have.
Patience? For what? For them to only grow stronger by the day? This isn't like you. Now let's go. We have to find other survivors.
No, stay here I am. Already over this battle is.
So be it. I'll fight this battle on my own.
Windu began to walk back towards his ship, but as he did, Yoda spoke up.
Master Windu, a good friend you always have been, and a wise Jedi you always were. Failed you I have, but proud of you I am.
At that moment, Windu accepted the fact that this battle could still be fought, but it would have to be done without Yoda's help. Although he was disappointed in his old friend, in a way he understood why he refused to fight. As the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, he always carried so much responsibility for ensuring peace and protection to the Order, but now that it's collapsed, he's taken the burden for it all. Yoda probably thinks he failed everyone. In a way, Windu felt sorry for him. However, he refused to let this set him back. He had to find more Jedi, with or without Yoda.
If continue the search you will, lay low you must. Smart the Empire is, find you they will.
I've made it out this far. I'll continue to do what I've been doing. Don't worry about me, Master.
May the Force be with you, Master Windu.
Windu nodded, and from there he took off. However, as he sat in his ship, he started to think about what Yoda said. That if he continued to search for more Jedi, he had to be more cautious. Although Windu tried to act confident at the moment, Yoda was right. He hadn't been doing a good job at laying low recently, since all he's been doing was traveling from planet to planet, trying different frequencies to contact any Jedi. Hopefully nobody spotted his presence so far, but if a challenge were to come his way, he was ready to face it. So Windu continued to search for other Jedi, and he refused to rest until anybody was found. Meanwhile on Mustafar, the newly appointed Darth Vader sat in his castle when all of a sudden he received a transmission. It was the Grand Inquisitor.
What is it, Grand Inquisitor?
Lord Vader, I have received a report that a familiar Jedi Master was roaming the streets of Corellia.
What Jedi?
Unfortunately, it was not Kenobi as you'd hoped, my lord, but someone that you may be quite familiar with. Jedi Master Mace Windu.
Mace Windu lives.
Yes, my lord.
Where is he now?
For that answer, we do not know. The last he was spotted was just over 5 rotations ago.
Why am I being informed about this now then, Grand Inquisitor?
Lord Vader, our team of Inquisitors have had other matters to it.
I want results, not excuses. You will hunt down and locate this Jedi, Grand Inquisitor. And once you do, I will deal with him myself. Fail me, and you will not live to regret it.
Yes, Lord Vader.
As weeks passed, Windu continued to search for surviving Jedi, and although he felt as if he was close at times, he still had no luck. However, unfortunately for him, Vader's team of Inquisitors did not rest in trying to search for him. To make sure Windu was found, wanted posters were shared throughout many Imperial-controlled planets in the galaxy, as well as it being spread across the HoloNet news. As the days passed, the credits reward to find Windu became higher and higher, and luckily for the Empire, their plan worked in their favor. Eventually, Mace Windu was found. According to one report, Mace Windu was spotted on the planet of Lothal. So, just as Lord Vader demanded, the Grand Inquisitor contacted him right away and informed him of this discovery. However, as soon as Vader heard this news, he went deep in thought. Rage swelled within him. He remembered all the years that Master Windu held him back. How he denied him the rank of Master, how he treated him like an outcast, and how he always held him back from his full potential. Now, Vader wanted revenge. He was now stronger than the weak, pathetic Anakin Skywalker, and so he would just prove that to Windu. However, before setting off, he contacted his master right away.
Lord Vader, I take it your recent Jedi hunt has gone well, my old friend.
Yes, my master.
Yet, I sense something more to your reason for summoning me.
The Jedi Master Mace Windu lives.
Are you certain?
His presence has already been reported twice, and he's now on the planet Lothal.
This is an opportunity we cannot let pass.
I am heading to the Lothal system now to deal with him myself.
Good. Once you have been victorious, bring him to me.
Yes, my master.
Meanwhile, Windu himself was already on Lothal, hoping to search for an abandoned Jedi temple there. He hoped that by finding this temple, it would lead him to other Jedi, so he searched the planet for it. Luckily for him, after hours and hours of searching, he found its location. Using the Force, he was able to open the entrance to the temple, and as he did, he made his way in. However, there was something off. As he walked through the temple, he felt cold. He sensed something dark, something sinister, something he hadn't felt since... Windu turned around. It was him. It was Darth Vader.
Our long-awaited meeting has come at last.
I suppose so, Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker is dead. I destroyed him.
Very unlikely. Just like Skywalker, I sense your lack of confidence. Makes sense now why he was never a Jedi Master.
Vader clenched his fist. Rage swelled within him.
I am impressed to see you have survived your fall, Jedi.
You never had to go down this path, Skywalker. The Emperor will use you as a tool, just as he'd done with Dooku and his others.
You don't know the power of the dark side. My master will be pleased with your capture.
We'll see about that.
Windu ignited his purple lightsaber. With that, Vader ignited his and rushed towards the Jedi Master. From there, the two clashed sabers and went back and forth as they fought within the temple. Although Windu wasn't as strong as before because of his lost hand and his injuries from a few months ago, he was still able to keep up with the Dark Lord. However, as the two fought, Windu was shocked at how much Anakin's fighting style had changed. What happened to him, he thought to himself. He must have been even more injured than him. It was almost as if he was fighting a machine, or like a droid. The two kept clashing, but out of nowhere, Windu sensed a shatter point. He sensed a weakness in Vader, a weakness that would give him the victory. Vader's control box. It was clear to see that Vader relied on a life support system of some sort, so if he destroyed the control box that was on his center chest, it would be easier for him to win. So Windu targeted the box, and luckily for him, he was in luck. Using his saber hilt, he then punched it right through Vader's chest, completely disorienting him. Sparkles crackled from his control box. Vader was limping. He was breathing heavier by the second. He was too weak. He couldn't keep going. He kept trying to attack Windu, but Windu kept dodging him. Whatever he tried to do, Windu had a counter. Then, as Vader was stumbling, Windu leaped in the air when then... With one strike of his saber, he slashed Vader right across his face. It was done. Darth Vader was defeated. As Windu stood there, he looked at Vader, whose mask was half cracked. Looking into one of his eyes, he saw the same scared boy that stood in front of him in the council all those years ago. The same boy that was destined to be the chosen one, but instead was the one responsible for not only his lost hand, but also the collapse of the Jedi Order. Windu pointed his saber right at Vader's throat.
Your reign ends here, Skywalker. I'm going to win this once and for all.
From there, Windu lifted his arm to attack Vader, but then...
Good. Very good.
Windu looked over. It was him, Darth Sidious.
I am impressed to see that you have survived your injuries, Master Windu. I was certain that the night our galactic empire rose to power, you had fallen to your death.
I was just fine. Try a bit harder next time.
Your arrogance blinds you, Master Windu. How does it feel, watching the Sith rule the galaxy after you spent so long fighting for your pathetic Jedi Order?
Your rule ends here. Your apprentice is already defeated. And you're next.
Is that so? And who will stop me? You? No, my old friend, it is you who are mistaken. Just like before, and just like your little green friend Yoda did, you will now experience the full power of the dark side.
Palpatine then unleashed a bolt of Force lightning right at Windu, who did his best to block it. However, he wasn't the same Jedi Master he was before. Although he tried using both hands to deflect the lightning, he knew he couldn't last for much longer. The Emperor was far too powerful. A few months ago, he'd be able to defeat him with ease, but now he just couldn't keep up. Windu was losing. He thought to himself, if only Yoda was here with him, then they could have won this battle together. However, now wasn't the time to be thinking that. He had to keep fighting. He had to. He couldn't lose. The Jedi still had to be rebuilt. He needed to... Out of nowhere, Windu's saber was knocked out of his hands by the Force lightning, and he was brought to the ground. As Palpatine stood above him, he kept frying him with Force lightning. Just like how he tortured him a few months ago, he was doing the same again. However, this time, Palpatine had no plans to let Windu survive. So he kept frying him and laughed as he did, but then all of a sudden, he stopped. Palpatine paused.
Only now, at the end, do you understand? Your Jedi Order is done. The Republic has fallen, and you are but a memory, Master Windu.
Windu was too injured to even speak. He couldn't get any words out. At that moment, he had no other option but to come to terms with his fate. He knew that he gave it all he had and didn't go down without a fight. At least that was something he could be proud of. He fought to his very last breath for the Republic that he cared so much about and the Jedi Order that he admired his whole life. At that moment, Windu accepted that one day a new hope might emerge and one day the Jedi Order might be rebuilt, but now it just wasn't that time. For now, the Sith had won.
Die well, Jedi.
With one strike of his red lightsaber, Palpatine struck Windu right through his chest. It was over. Mace Windu was dead. As Palpatine stood above Windu's corpse, he couldn't help but laugh inside. For the last months, Vader and his Inquisitors were the ones that normally hunted Jedi, which made him miss the thrill of doing it himself. What better way than to kill the man who was second in command to the Jedi Order? Palpatine smiled. Then he looked over at Vader, who was still struggling to breathe. Palpatine then walked up to him, and as he did, he said,
I am most disappointed by your failure, Lord Vader. It seems your recent obsession with finding Kenobi has left you weakened. If you cannot overcome this, then you will one day suffer the same fate by his hands.
Vader went silent. All he could do was gasp for air.
Now, my old friend, I will leave you here by yourself as a punishment for your failure. Unlike how I saved you on Mustafar, this time you are on your own. Once you have rebuilt yourself, report to me back on Coruscant. We have work to do.